Guys, on the car drive here, I was listening to the radio, and the station I was listening to turned to static, right? So I switched it, and the next station was playing like clips of Trump's inauguration speech.
Yeah.
So is every station in Virginia white noise, or is it just those two? That's a great joke. I'm gonna keep it. As long as that joke hits, that's all that I need. I'm a big fan of horror movies. Any horror fans in the crowd? Yeah, I love horror movies, but I do have a problem with horror movies. You never get to see the social backlash after the tragedy, right? Like, that's a big problem that I have. Like, I want to see, like, right after Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Where people are tweeting, like, we need to get all these chainsaws off the street. These chainsaws are dangerous. I'm not saying take away everyone's chainsaws. It should just be harder to get a chainsaw, right? It's ridiculous that you don't have to wait 30 days. And then there's the other side, right? That's like, I disagree. If you take away chainsaws, only large men in masks are gonna have chainsaws. What about all the responsible chainsaw owners? I keep my chainsaws locked in a safe. There are people posting pictures on Facebook like, my chainsaw never killed anybody. Come and get it. Yes. When I was born, I was circumcised. That's a fun little nugget. It was so painful I couldn't walk for a year, so that was kind of... I'm gonna wait for that one, because that joke is way better than you guys are acting like it is. Sometimes jokes get weird reactions. Like, I told that joke one time, and this woman in the front row, this old woman goes, "Good." Like, why the fuck is that good, right? Like, she's just watching my set, like, I just can't laugh at anything he says until I know he's cut. It's just not funny until I'm positive there's no foreskin on there. I'm a big fan of porn. Any porn fans in the audience? That's the most honest I've ever had anyone be at the show. You love porn? Great. I'm gonna take you on the road with me. You're gonna come to every show just like, talk about porn. I like porn a lot. You guys think there's independent porn, right? Like, I'm not too familiar with how the industry works. But in the film industry, right, if you want to be a big budget director, make a few small budget films first. Is it the same in the porn industry? Like, they make amateur movies. Like, do you have to make a few, like, small sex tapes before Brazzers comes knocking on your door? Just like, and there's like a super pretentious community for the indie porn, right? Like, dude, you gotta check this one out. This one's amazing. All the sex is implied. None of it's on screen. It's fucking dope. There's a Michael Bay porn that, like, everyone fucking hates, right? Like, Asian Ass Busters 4 was my childhood. Then he had to reboot it and fuck everything up. Oh, the common CGI. I like practical effects. You guys are a CGI crowd? That's okay. I think that's silly anyway. Like, I'm a big nerd, but I think it's silly when nerds say that, like, Michael Bay ruined their childhood. Like, really? The Ninja Turtles was your whole childhood? You know what I would do if I was Michael Bay? I would try to ruin one kid's childhood, right? Like, I would just go to his parents and, like, buy the rights to his family home videos. Just do a dark and gritty reboot of Ricky's childhood. I don't remember that fishing trip where my dad reeled in a bass and it blew up in his face. Must have repressed that one. Apparently my mom's Megan Fox and my dad's Shia LaBeouf. They made out on my 7th birthday on top of Bumblebee. It's fucking weird. Too obscure? Sure. The Transformers are absolutely too obscure for this crowd. I've been doing this thing lately when I'm masturbating at my computer. I like to come right on the floor and leave out a little sign that says wet cement, just for fun. The other day I did it, and I came back a few hours later, and my brother had actually written his initials in there, so that was kind of... Here's a weird thought. I don't know if I want kids, right? Can't decide. I know, great segue, right? I don't know if I want kids, but I'm worried that I've masturbated too much that all the good kids are out. They're like gone, right? Like, I feel like the cure to cancer was in my balls at one point, but now it's just like on on the floor with my brother's initials in it. I'm just shooting stoners at this point. Like that's... There's like a rocket scientist in my mom's pillowcase. I don't... I like porn parodies. I think porn parodies are fun. There's a lot of good ones. They've got like, for Pokemon, they have Strokemon, right? That's a really good one. Game of Thrones has Game of Bones, right? But my favorite porn parodies are the ones where they don't have to change the title at all. I think those are good, right? Like the other day I was watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That was... A Few Good Men is good. I like that one. There Will Be Blood. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Corpse Bride. Next joke. Let's go on. The next joke. I've been trying to convince my girlfriend to try roleplay. That's what I've been doing in my life recently. I just have this fantasy that I can't get out of my mind where I'm myself and she's literally anybody else. Like that's kind of... Solid response, guys. I like that for that joke. Big fan of dolphins. You guys like dolphins? The animal? They're an excellent animal. I watched a documentary recently about dolphins. I learned a few swell facts. I learned that, I've always heard that like dolphins are like one of the only groups other than humans to exhibit homosexual tendencies. Always heard that. You say negative? It's true, sir. I do a lot of research for my jokes. Like so much research. It's ridiculous how much research I'll do to talk about porn in front of strangers. I always heard that, right? They're one of the only other groups other than humans to exhibit homosexual tendencies. Never done more research, right? I learned in the documentary that it's true, but they do it to like fit in. Like dolphin groups are super cliquish and they like won't accept new members unless they're like banging the other dolphins, right? I just like to think about like the acceptance process, like how silly that must be, right? Like look, Rick's not a cool guy. I'm not saying he is. But Rick can suck a dick. I don't know what you want. They say he's a dolphin, more like a blowfish to me. I also learned in the documentary that apparently like dolphins eat pufferfish to get high. I never knew that. Like that's a fun little nugget, right? I wonder if that's a big point of contention in the dolphin world, right? Like legalize puffer, man. You gotta do it. The Sturgeon General has said it's completely okay. Also, who are you to judge me? Sometimes after work I want to take a load off, I want to go 420,000 leagues under the sea, and that's my right. There are kids like, Mom, can I go to Daryl's house? It's like, no, Daryl deals the puffer. I don't want you hanging out with that boy. He got kicked out of the School of Fish for dealing the Great Barrier Reefer. I don't want you hanging out with anyone that smokes the seaweed. I just want medicinal puffer, that's all I want. I've got a lot of chronic pain from what Rick did to my blowhole. I kind of need... Alright guys, they've got an excellent show for you. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for listening to me.